Bro, what is going on with Georgia? What's going on with Georgia? Well, you know what? I'll save judgment for Alabama because they still got it done with their backup quarterback, who seems like he's going to be the next coming after Bryce Young. But what is going on with Georgia?
You ready for some solidarity? You ready? How does it feel to sit alone on top of college football right now, as the leaders of the Big Ten East? How does it feel to sit alone as the two most dominant programs this season in college football, bar none?
Feels great, actually.
I'm just saying.
I mean, like,
Just saying.
If SEC fans want to point out the Notre Dame game as a struggle when
If that, I was about to say, now I'll be totally objective on that one. I've been wanting to say that's still a bad loss, but
it was a win.
sorry, excuse me, still a bad win. Well, there are no bad wins.
It's
It was
not-
an ugly win.
It's not a marquee win like we thought it was supposed to be going into the season. I'll admit that. Easily.
But even said that, it's not struggling into the fourth quarter with a MAC team at home. It's not going out and playing one of the worst teams in the SEC in Missouri
and almost losing.
To death by a million field goals.
It's not being up 28-0 to Arkansas and letting them score 23.
Hell, even to get out of the ACC, it's not being in the dogfight with NC State for most of the game, which they kind of gave that up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Or Clemson hunkered down and the talent showed itself, however you want to look at that. But
Sure.
the point is, Michigan and Ohio State have not shown nearly the weaknesses that the perceived tier one of college football in Bama and Georgia this year so far. Now, what does that mean for the rest of the season? Nothing. But so far, to this date, Ohio State and Michigan sit alone as the two best teams in college football right now. I don't think that's a stretch at all.
I don't either.
Especially when you talk about Bryce Young is probably going to miss the next couple of weeks.
That shoulder,
looks
tough.
Great. The backup looks great against Arkansas, who didn't seem to be able to stop anybody. I mean, A&M had offensive success against Arkansas,
and Bama goes into A&M and Tennessee. So their next two games are A&M and Tennessee.
So yeah, we'll see. We will see. But as of right now, there isn't a threat of either one of these teams, dropping one in the early season. Georgia's already had two scares, and Alabama's got to go at it in the next couple of weeks without their starter. So I guess we will continue to see
top teams at least.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Like you said, the house is now divided. We've got our Michigan fan, our resident Michigan fan, Marcus Too Raw, and obviously your resident fan of the Ohio State University, it's JTG. Let's talk about Week 5 Big Ten games. So OSU beat Rutgers 49-10. Honestly, amazing play from Mayan Williams, 5 touchdowns, tying for the leading rushing touchdown output.
Sidebar: is Mayan Williams the best back on Ohio State this year?
Okay, so talent wise, it's definitely a tough decision to make there. But when you throw in the fact that Travion seems a little injury prone and Mayan seems as tough as nails, you could definitely make that argument.
I don't think Travion's been the more effective runner this year. I think Mayan's been the more effective runner. I mean, even injuries aside, when Travion's healthy,
I would agree with that.
It has looked like Mayan is the more effective runner.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I want to say Mayan Williams might have had more 100-yard games this season than Travion. Travion had one of those games with like 80 yards as opposed to 100 yards. So I think he even has more productive games. I mean, I'm not arguing that. I've been on the Mayan train since last year. So if that's where we're going with it, I'm definitely happy to have both of them. But if Mayan Williams is the guy, then feed him the ball as much as possible. You notice he had 20, 21, 22 rushes in this game. Like, see what happens when we run the ball and we go to it often. Now it's against Rutgers, but kind of opens things up a little bit. Eichenberg looked great. The defense lost Tanner McAllister in the first quarter. That was a little tough considering we're already not so deep at defensive back. But we still got key plays by Steel Chambers. I think he led the team in tackles, had a pick of his own, and a fumble recovery by Mike Hall, both of those which were caused by Zach Harrison. The defense looked pretty good. Again, it's Rutgers, so I'm not going to put too much stock into that, but at least building confidence is key for our defense, especially going into some of these later games. The fake punt. Are people not aware that, our punter plays like he plays with those rugby rules, essentially. He runs out of, I don't know if it's a punter pocket, but he runs out of that little pocket to punt the ball. And there was wide open area for him to run the ball. I don't think that was something that Ryan Day called. I think that was just
it was a check by the punter.
I think so. Because if you see it, he like hesitates a couple times like he's about to punt it, and then he takes off. So I think Rutgers just overloaded one side, and then he just
was it successful? I didn't watch your guys' game. Yeah,
okay.
This is probably the first one I didn't watch.
Well, so that's
that
when,
you were pouring it on.
Crookshank from Rutgers did a late hit on the punter.
Oh.
He was already given up on the play. He was running out of bounds, and Crookshank came out of nowhere and leveled him. And then that caused both sides to like run out on the field, and then that caused a little spat between Ryan Day and Schiano.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beef?
They actually had penalties called on them.
What, they came together on the field?
Yeah, because it was on the Buckeye side, and Schiano ran over once he saw that people were getting in Crookshank's face. And
hey, man, you can say what you want about Rutgers, man, but they have a very tough mentality that manifests pretty often. Yeah, shout out to them. So, being that I didn't watch this game too closely yet, I'll probably catch it on a replay on the Big Ten and 60. With Wisconsin, and I know we'll get more detailed on their game this weekend, kind of getting railroaded by Illinois this week. Any concern that the offense, I guess, and defense still need? Well, maybe not the defense. The offense is what it is. Maybe not your guys' defense, because their offense is what it is.
Yeah.
Is there any concern that the offense, being the Ohio State offense, still needs to be tested to a greater degree, being that Wisconsin doesn't seem to be all that good?
Yeah, a little bit. I believe that, it would be nice to face a defense that's worth a damn. And so, hopefully once we get into games like Penn State's got the DBs, I think, to hang with our wide receivers. And obviously once we come to see Michigan, it's unfortunate that our tests have kind of fallen by the wayside for the most part. We went into this thing thinking, Notre Dame,
Don't
Wisconsin.
sleep on Iowa. Don't sleep on Iowa. Iowa
will be a tough defense as well. Yeah, I forgot they're playing them next week. So, they'll be a very tough defense. Now, that'll be a confidence builder for our defense. Yeah. But, that'll be a nice little battle between how good Ohio State's offense is against a solid defense in Iowa, for sure. I look forward to that one. Yep. Yeah, hopefully we continue to run the ball effectively and get C.J. Stroud some better looks off the play action. We'll see. Nebraska beating Indiana 35-21.
Oh, come on, Tom Allen.
Not sure what happened there.
Come on. Block punts and all kind of stuff going on there. Yeah. I don't know. I thought Indiana would go to Lincoln and take that one pretty handily, and I was mistaken. So shout out to Torrey Morrison and the guys. We had a Chuba Hubbard sighting there at quarterback, but he didn't finish the game. So I guess it's still Casey Thompson's job out there. Maybe we'll see. But man, they got a dub. So what are they, 3-2 or 2-2?
Indiana's 3-2. Nebraska's 2-3.
2-3. Okay.
Because they lost to Northwestern.
Gotcha. 2-3. Okay. Hey, here we go. We are a third of the way towards bowl eligibility. 4 more to go.
Do you think they get 4 more wins?
I don't, but I mean that's got to be the mentality if you want to keep a job.
Yeah, especially for
if you even want to have a chance.
Yeah, no, for sure. You got to at least see a bowl game of some sort, even if it is the backyard bowl. Yeah. Michigan State lost to Maryland 27-13. Bro, at this point, if Tuck is coming,
Tuck coming.
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Tuck coming.
I don't care.
Tuck coming to hand you another dub.
And this makes Maryland look pretty good.
No, Maryland's legit. Well, they're good. I don't know if they're legit, but they're good.
4-1 and only lost to Michigan?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Michigan State, man, it is a dumpster fire over there. Like, defense is optional at Michigan State, it seems like.
Yeah.
The pass rush is no longer dominating offensive lines. The secondary looks just as bad, maybe a little bit worse at times than last year. At least early on in the season, we thought they were at least serviceable on defense early on. Peyton Thorne is Peyton Thorne. It's not going to get any better than that.
It's not, and they're not going to put anybody in like you.
Yeah, they don't. They do not have a guy. I am just. Oh man, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for October 29th patiently. I'm just waiting because I think they are. This is the year. It should be now. I'm not a damn player, so I have no control over what happens in that rivalry game this year. But it's in Ann Arbor. It's Halloween weekend. And they are awful. So, let's get about 70. Put that score on your ring, fellas.
Yikes. At this point, I'm wondering if Tuck owes Kenneth Walker at least 10% for that contract. At least 10%.
Hey, if for some reason K Walker don't make it in the NFL, I know he better have a job on that staff, boy. I know that. Him,
something.
Jalen Naylor.
Yeah.
You get them boys whatever that you want to coach receivers, running backs, what you want to do. Might have a defensive coordinator spot opening up pretty goddamn soon. Can you coach defense?
And they need to be paid handsomely for what they've done for his career and his pockets. Because at this point, I can't see Michigan State being so happy that they paid that man, $95 million?
Now, on the Maryland side of things, what they have to do, because I think they've done enough to show that they've improved this season.
Oh, yeah.
What they got to do is steal one. They got to win one they're not supposed to, right? To kind of get into that, are they the next team to step up in the Big Ten status? You know, that respect that Kentucky got out of fucking nowhere and Florida got in the first 2 weeks of the season and Arkansas has been getting for the last 2 years. Right, maybe Maryland can get some of that love.
Can that be against Purdue? Considering Purdue is not ranked, but they are easily, and we'll talk about it later.
I think they're going to be favored to beat Purdue, but that would be a good win. That's going to be because I think they play that one in Purdue at Purdue, right?
No, this is at Maryland.
Oh, I think they'll be favored. They should win that. They should win that game.
That's gonna be a really good game.
They run the football and they don't stop the run, but they're tough against the run. Mm-hmm. They're tough enough to make you throw the ball.
Is that the
which I mean
win,
Purdue doesn't care.
Do they have to steal one from Penn State?
No, they gotta steal one from one of the three. Is what I'm talking about. Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. Well, they're already down Michigan. One of those. So now you got 2 more opportunities to try and get that done. Steal one of those games, I'm gonna start respecting Maryland.
I don't like to hear that because we play Maryland on the road. So.
Hey, you steal one of those games, I'm respecting Mike Locksley in Maryland.
You know what, actually, though? After Michigan, Minnesota, and Ohio State, Penn State plays Indiana, and then they got to play Maryland. So maybe they take Maryland easily, even though it's at home as well for them. So maybe that could be the game. Who knows?
We'll see.
Hopefully it's just not Ohio State. That's the point I'm trying to make. Let's talk about the Purdue-Minnesota game.
Damn.
It's unfortunate for Minnesota. They were ranked 21, and they lose this game 20-10 to Purdue. Honestly, I don't think this is that bad of a loss.
I have a sneaky suspicion.
Well, here's the biggest thing to take away from this loss is that Mo Ibrahim did not play.
Ah, really?
Mo Ibrahim did not play at all in this game. He suited up, but he did not play.
Injured? Did they say anything?
I believe it is because of a slight injury to his foot.
All those damn carries, Fleck. But, I mean, what do you want the guy to do? He's got one of the best backs in the nation. You got to give him the ball.
Right.
Hey, Josh. What does that say right there? What does that say in the team stats for Purdue? What does that say?
We're talking about 160 rushing yards?
And versus Minnesota's what?
47 yards of rushing.
Fam, Jeff Brom running the football wins games in the Big Ten. It's going to win you more games than your fancy scheme. Stop thinking that you are smarter than the game of football. I didn't even watch, and I knew it. I knew it. Because you do not win games like this versus a good Minnesota defense, a good Minnesota team, right? Unless you press the line of scrimmage. You go out there and throw for 400 yards as many times as you want to, but that's not going to get you over the hump. Run the ball, fam. Run the ball.
Devin Maccabee, their freshman running back, looked like a stud.
Hey, man. Hey.
112 yards.
Negrodamus.
1 touchdown. He was breaking tackles and all sorts of shit. It was crazy. It's like, I don't know who this kid is, but he is getting it done.
Trying to tell you, man.
That was crazy. But yeah, no, yet and still not a bad loss for Minnesota. You don't have your star running back, and you lost to the second best team in the Big Ten West. Who, if they beat Penn State, will we even be having this conversation right now?
No. Nope.
They would at least be ranked right now,
yeah,
I would think.
Sure.
Well, actually, no, because they lost to, what was it, Syracuse?
They lost to Syracuse. But one loss season and your one loss is out of conference. That's what you hope for.
Yeah.
Instead, they got a conference loss and an out of conference. Or
a
conference loss and out of conference.
They lost to 2 teams. Penn State.
Penn State, yeah.
Duh. So yeah, no, for sure. Purdue looks like a good team. So if you're taking this, if you're taking this loss and looking at it like Minnesota's not that good or whatever you're looking at it like, Minnesota's definitely still a good team, still a solid team, and probably still the favorite to take the Big Ten West.
Sure.
Unless somehow both Minnesota and Purdue win out for the rest of the season, and because Purdue beat Minnesota, then they take the Big Ten West. It's the only other way I can see it.
That's a little far fetched considering the teams that Purdue still has to play,
right.
But doable. I mean, it's possible.
I can see Minnesota
feasible.
winning out. Purdue is probably their toughest game.
Minnesota's more likely to win out than Purdue for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But given that they dropped this one to Purdue, I mean, you kind of have to open up the possibilities to them losing games that they're not supposed to.
I take that back. I forgot they played Penn State.
Who's that?
Minnesota.
But that's their hardest game for the rest of the season.
Yes.
If they get over that, which they have the personnel, they can beat Penn State. My worry is, are you going to slip before you get to Penn State? Are you going to run the table to Penn State and then finish out the season?
Well, so their next game is Illinois and then it's Penn State. But
are you going? Yeah. Are you going to take care of business to get to Penn State?
Yeah.
Illinois just boat raced Wisconsin.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Illinois beat Wisconsin 34-10.
Beat the brakes off them boys.
That's tough.
Ooh, that Paul Christ, man. It's getting hot over there. I know that seat getting hot. It's got to be. You got one of the best running backs in the country. Above average O-line. I don't think that they're the best in pass pro, but, you know. Then you got a 5-star quarterback for the first time in like 20 years. It just doesn't look good over there, Paul Chris.
You know where it all got messed up? Graham Mertz, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Wisconsin, 2 rushing yards.
Like in the game?
2 rushing yards.
So Braylon Allen was hurt.
No, he was out in the game. Or, he might have gotten injured during it. I didn't see the game. So he might have gotten injured during the game. But he got 8 carries for 2 yards.
Damn.
Malusi got 7 carries, 16 yards. And
they
Graham Mertz
shut that run game down.
Graham Mertz negative 22 yards, so he got sacked a couple times.
Did Paul Chris coach under Brett Bielema? Was he on his staff when he left Wisconsin?
Yeah.
That was a teacher coming to whoop his student's ass. That's exactly what that was.
It happened. Mm-hmm. Yikes! 34-10 is just. How do you lose like that to Illinois?
Well, Illinois may not be the Illinois that we know.
Yeah. Well. Sure.
They may no longer be the Illinois that we know.
I mean, 4-1.
We'll see. They've got some tougher games this season, so.
Agreed.
We'll see what they do. They got Penn State next week.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Let's go, Fighting Bielemas.
No, they don't.
Thought you said they play
Illinois. Penn State is playing Minnesota next. Minnesota is playing Penn State next. I think they got a bye week next week.
Oh, okay.
And then Illinois plays. Who do they play next? Illinois plays Iowa next.
Ooh, that'd be a good game.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. Ugly one, but it'll be a good one.
Facts. Northwestern loses to Penn State 7-17.
My upset pick.
But you know what? Northwestern should be. Well, you're never happy with a loss. Let's start there. But 7-17, and it was tough for Penn State the entire game.
Penn State's got some deficiencies, man. They have to graduate from Sean Clifford. They have to. James Franklin's job may depend on it because Sean Clifford can come back again, I think.
No.
I think he could come back again.
No.
Wait, hold on. It was somebody in the Big Ten who can be a 7th-year senior. I thought it was Clifford.
It would either be Clifford or what? Aiden O'Connell?
Or Morgan.
Oh, it might be Tanner Morgan.
It could be Tanner Morgan. Okay. So maybe not Sean Clifford. They need to graduate from him anyways. Because I don't think there's a level beyond what you are currently seeing from Sean Clifford. He is a 6th-year senior. There's no elevation. There's no, he's a gamer. So Purdue gave him that game in week 1.
Yes.
They gave him that game on a silver platter.
And if it wasn't for Nick Singleton showing up out of nowhere, Penn State would be in a terrible position.
And even with that, man, they're not. I just don't know how dominant their offensive line play is. They have excellent backs.
Yeah.
But so far, in terms of skill talent, they've outmatched the defenses that they've played. There isn't an athlete like Nick Singleton in Purdue's back 7. Nor is there one in Northwestern's back 7.
That's a fact.
So, without breaking down X's and O's, watching the all 22 for one of these teams, it's hard to know exactly whether or not Penn State has a dominant run game or whether or not they have very talented backs. And I do think it's an either or because a lot of times they do give up tackles for loss.
Yeah.
And they get stalemated a lot, but then you see a lot of big runs as well. So, we're still trying to figure that out.
That's a tough question to answer because Nick Singleton was out, last week, and Kaytron Allen picked up the pieces. But does that mean that Nick Singleton and Kaytron Allen are both just really good? Or, the line performed for both of them?
I mean, the moral of the story is it's working for them either way now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my thing with Penn State is when we fill the box and we take away what little creases that Singleton and Kaytron are finding, Kaytron Allen, what are you going to do then? Because I haven't been overly impressed with Parker Washington, haven't been overly impressed with anybody out of that receiving core, really.
Yeah.
And then Clifford is what he is. You get pressure on him, he'll give you the ball a couple times.
It's going to be a very interesting game between Penn State and Ohio State because the DBs just haven't been there for Ohio State. But then if Sean Clifford has to win the game for Penn State, I think I like my chances.
Yeah, that'll be a good measurement game for both squads there.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people like to put Penn State into that stratosphere with, the top 2, obviously, with Michigan and Ohio State.
I don't think they're there.
I don't know, man. Yeah, just haven't seen a complete performance from them yet.
Yeah.
Not just yet. People like to point to Auburn, but Auburn's a dumpster fire.
Right.
So
people only point to Auburn because they're an SEC team.
They're a bad SEC team.
Right. Now say something positive about Penn State.
Nick Singleton's really good. He's really good.
I don't think we said overall a positive segment on Penn State yet. But,
he's really, really good.
For obvious reasons.
Well, let me say this. I did not believe that Manny Diaz was really going to be a great addition for Penn State because when I watched Miami football under Manny Diaz, I saw a lot of undisciplined football on both sides of the ball. A lot of undisciplined play. There's still a lot of season for that to rear its head with Penn State. I don't know how they're doing penalty-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was great yesterday. But that is something to watch. So far, he's been good.
Yeah.
Secondaries looked good. Linebackers look good. Defensive line is hit or miss, I think. But they've got talent on that side of the ball. And they've looked stout.
I would agree.
Let's see versus some competent offenses here coming up: Ohio State, Maryland, Michigan. Let's see what Manny Diaz is made of.
Yeah, no, he's like I said before, he's got some tough games to go against, some tough offenses to go against.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I believe the only game left to talk about would be Michigan, Iowa.
Yeah, man. So I've had a chance to watch a couple times. Blake Corum is a dog. All week, all I heard, well, what is J.J. McCarthy going to do? Because they're just not going to be able to run the ball against Iowa. Blake Corum's probably going to have under 100 yards rushing, so how else do they use him to get him the ball? They're going to hand it to him 29 times, let him go for 130. That's what they're going to do. He's a man back there. So we can officially put away the questions about Blake Corum being able to handle the load, being able to run in short yardage. He's a bell cow. He's going to tote the rock. Another takeaway from the offense. The running game and offensive line is going to be just as elite this year as it was last year. Iowa's front seven is among the best in the country. Won't say they are the best. Won't say that they are absolutely elite. But they are, I'd say, a top 20, top 15 defense for sure. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Maybe even higher than that when the season is all said and done. But they're good. And we didn't necessarily have our way with them. We just got tough yards after tough yards after tough yards. And then in the second half, you just kind of seen the result of that, I think, for the most part. JJ had a good game, I think, for what they asked him to do. The thing that Iowa obviously wants to do is create short fields for their offense. And they weren't able to do that a lot, I don't think. There were a couple of times where they were able to flip the field, but they were few and far in between. There obviously was no defensive scores. There were no turnovers. Right? You want to kill Iowa. You want to make sure that they haven't scored a point through 3.5 quarters. You run the ball. You don't turn it over. Right? Don't give their defense a chance to affect the game. If you can stop us running the ball, then we'll do something else. They weren't able to. Good to see Donovan Edwards back. Good to see the entire offensive line back healthy for the first time this season. So, and that's what was the biggest thing for me is that all 5 starters on the line were back, and I don't really think we gave up all that many pressures. Maybe 2 that I saw that I could remember. And then on running the ball wise, we were dominant. Defensive wise, I'm starting to see what people are saying about the linebackers. I don't think it's a physicality thing, but a lot of what I'm seeing is it's mental. And maybe it is thinking too much, but it's the type of muscle memory you're supposed to have at that position is not very strong right now. And I think that's because of a couple things. One thing, you got Mike Barrett in there, right? Which Mike Barrett will bring his pads with him, right? He'll hit. But Mike Barrett has played all over this defense. He's played safety. He's played edge. He's played middle. He's played everywhere. So there's a couple of things that I saw that allowed some runs in the second half. Attacking with the wrong shoulder, right? Not scraping across the formation to get outside leverage on a run, right? If you are play side and you know you got somebody coming across, you want to be the first guy and destroy the blocker. Well, when that guy does that, you got to scrape over. If you're backside, if you're the backside inside linebacker, you have to be screaming over top of the mess, When Mike Barrett goes up there and he blows up the lead blocker in the hole, he's expecting somebody to come off his hip and make contact with the ball carrier. We're a step late. Now we're reaching for guys. Safety play, I don't think was particularly strong this game. I don't think it was very strong this game at all. R.J. Moten got stiffed out of his shoes by Sam Laporta. I was a little embarrassed for you. Do better. What else? They picked on Mikey a little bit this game. They put a bigger guy on him and singled him out a couple of times, and I think he got beat. All in all, though, looking up, saying all of that, 45 yards rushing total, and most of the 240 that Petras was able to get, not most of it, but a good part of it was made on the final drive when Michigan kind of backed off. So good win, I think. We didn't allow Iowa to do what it is they do to win games. Went into a place where we hadn't won in like 20 years and got a dub, much like last year at Madison. And we'll just keep trekking, man. Indiana next week. Try to do the same thing, one game at a time. JJ continues to improve. Defense is coming on. Pass rush is coming on. Hallelujah. Look at your boy Mike Morris with 2 sacks. Anabi Oki got 2 of them as well. So it continues to build, right? We're not in our final form, but we're getting better. And so I even with that said, a pretty solid, complete performance, I think.
I've got one question, and it doesn't really have so much to do with the X's and O's, but it has more to do with upholding tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So Iowa, I believe after the first quarter, I think that's when they usually do it.
The wave.
Conduct the Iowa wave.
Mm-hmm.
And I happen to notice Jim Harbaugh kind of slacking a little bit on his Iowa wave. What's going on with your boy?
Bro, he waved, bro.
He waved, then I was just bro. Like, all right, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, he waved, bro. We're playing a football game. He waved. Everybody waved. We
Jim
enjoyed
Harbaugh
it.
literally said, fuck those kids on camera.
He didn't say that. He did not say that.
Them kids on camera.
He didn't say that. But you know what? The positive thing to take out of that, not that bullshit, but something else, is the fact that every time we go to somebody's stadium and they have a raucous, crowd pleasing moment to like get the crowd involved and stuff like that, Michigan kind of embraces it. The jump around at Madison, the thunderstruck at Nebraska.
Really embraced the Iowa wave. He was out there like. And that's why it was even funnier, because they cut from JJ enthusiastically waving to Jim just like, all right, are we done? My arm hurts. These aren't Michigan player kids. I don't care about these kids.
we are playing a football game. So.
Oh man, I just thought that was hilarious.
Shout out to all the kids at the Iowa Children's Hospital.
Absolutely. One of the best traditions in Big Ten football.
Real quick, one of the things I am looking for, though, on the defense, it seems like we have it on the offense. We need a leader. Last year's defense was riddled with leaders. Brad Hawkins, Josh Ross, Aiden, Jabo, Dax Hill. We need guys who are going to they're going to inspire elite plays. Not necessarily being the guy who leads the charge, right? Because there's strength in being balanced. But a guy to pull the huddle together and be like, hey, we need one. And they go out there and get a play. A guy that's out there is like, hey, we need to bow our backs right now.
And because Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah,
we need something. We need somebody like that. I think that is the biggest intangible that we're missing on defense right now is a rah-rah guy. Like, we need that. I'm hoping they get Nikhai Hill-Green back soon, because I think he has the potential to be that. Maybe Mike Morris, now that he's performing a little bit better on the field the last couple of weeks. But they need a vocal leader on defense. I don't think I've seen one just yet.
I may be wrong because I'm on the outside looking in. Obviously, I don't watch every single Michigan game, but it would seem to me that Aiden kind of grew into that role over the season.
Sure.
And so maybe you've got a guy that's working his way into that, but it's week 5.
I think the 2020 season is what did it for Aiden, right? And but you're right though. It was like the process of that season grew him into a leader. Now we need somebody to do it in season.
Yeah.
You know, he came into his senior season being the guy. Everybody knew it. Now we're looking for somebody to be that guy. So let's elevate that. Yeah,
for sure. I know we talked about Alabama and Georgia. Any other out of conference games that stuck out to you at all?
Man. Clemson is a wild card to me. I feel like they could either be a national champion or a 2-loss team. I don't know what they're going to end up doing. They're either going to end up in the national championship game through sheer coincidence and luck, or they're going to lose 2 games. Also, do you ever notice, like, have you ever watched the beginning of a Clemson game when they come down the hill, they hit Howard's Rock, all that other stuff?
Yes.
How many college coaches take off 10 yards before their team down the hill?
Literally every other coach runs with their team.
I'm like, yo, look at King Dabo out here leading his troops.
Dabo is an arrogant piece of shit.
Dabo the Conqueror out here. Like, and I mean, it's pronounced too. It's not even like, all right, guys, let's come on all together. It's like, hold on, wait. Go.
I got to get my shine real quick. Hang on.
Jesus, Dabo. Like, their entrance is a bit much anyways. Hey, coming from smacking of the banner guy, right? But like running down a ramp. But first of all, loading on buses from the practice facility to the stadium with cleats on is nuts enough.
Yes.
Then we're going to get off the buses, run down a hill. It is amazing.
Has to be down a hill because it makes Dabo seem faster than what he actually is. I got to get a head start.
It amazes me that there aren't more Clemson entrances fails, like viral moments of football teams failing.
It's coming up. It's going to happen. Especially with how fast he's running downhill.
It's a really steep ass hill too.
It takes a shoelace. And it's all bad.
It's only gonna take one person in the middle of that blob to fall, and then it's over.
Domino effect. That would be hilarious.
Who else played? I did watch Georgia, Missouri. Hey, Georgia is human. Georgia is extremely human.
Very much so. I am no longer afraid of anybody in college football, but we've already discussed that.
Who else?
Not that we can't lose, but I'm not afraid of anybody.
Kentucky lost, so now we can stop talking about them for a little bit.
Sure.
But they lost in I guess impressive fashion.
I think what'll probably end up happening is they'll flip. Because Ole Miss was 14, Kentucky was 7. So, they both got to still be ranked.
RJ, are you okay? Are you okay, bro? Are you okay? Are you okay? Because I know you have to go back to the drawing board and say more nice things about Michigan again.
TCU.
Are you okay, fam?
55-24.
Woo! Let's call it what it was. It was 55-17. Garbage time scores to make it look not as bad as trash.
I agree.
Garbage. Put your backups in. Let them get some game experience. Stop trying to save face. 55-24 doesn't sound any better than 55-17. Doesn't make it any better.
Can we also stop ranking Texas A&M? They just lost to Mississippi State 42-24.
Yeah, no, they suck.
Why are we still ranking them?
They suck.
Why were they 17 to begin with?
Well, because they just beat Arkansas last week, and Arkansas was top 10.
God, I hate that shit. And UCLA beat Washington 40-32.
Hey, that was a good game. Dorian Thompson-Green, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
That bruh hit a juke at the goal line. It was a damn safety coming and a linebacker scraping across. He puts a move on the safety and makes him smack into the linebacker. It was beautiful. Oof. It looked like some college football shit. It looked like some NCAA 14 shit.
Did you see the play Liberty versus Old Dominion where their quarterback is on the run? He tosses a perfect pass, and bro catches it across his body with one hand.
Like one of these.
That
I was like,
shit
bro, you didn't
was
even have to
tough.
catch it like that. You didn't. You just wanted to. You just wanted to catch it like that.
But it was still an amazing catch. It was a really good throw too, but an even better catch. Wild. Anything else?
That's it for me. Give us your takes on this week's college football or week 5 of college football. I don't know why I said it like that. How did your team do? Give us your thoughts on our teams and the rest of college football. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and come back next week.
Absolutely, and make sure you subscribe because we'll be talking about college football literally every week. And so we'll be here back on Monday with another review.